Hey everyone, Mark the Movie Man here. Welcome to the Final Cut. I've got a film review for you for a film that kind of slipped under the radar like a drone. Yes, I'm talking about Eye in the Sky, directed by Gavin Hood, which gives us the story about the involvement of a drone strike on a major terrorist. And we see what events and steps lead up to it, as well as the questioning of doing the drone strike due to collateral damage. And we have Colonel Catherine Powell, who really wants to take out these terrorists right away, but we do have some other bureaucracy and other moral questions that come into play on whether or not the targets are worth striking and possibly causing some other innocent deaths. Wow, this film... Gavin Hood should really make more of these types of films. Now, he did Ender's Game as well as Wolverine Origins. I know, we all wince. But this one, he gives us a taut thriller, on the edge of your seat, tense moments, and it is basically a character-driven piece. There are some special effects in here, but it is mostly dialogue and performance by these actors in here who all do very well. I mean, Helen Mirren is fantastic, and I loved her character, Colonel Catherine Bell, in here, who is really just, she's been tracking this terrorist for so long and finally has a bead on that terrorist, plus a few others, and I loved that. I loved that, and how you could even feel inside there's just a little internal conflict, but she just wants to get this person, and she really tries to talk everybody into saying we have to take this shot. Alan Rickman shows up in here as well as Lieutenant General Frank Benson. It was bittersweet seeing Alan Rickman on screen, but he does fantastic as well as the go-between between the colonel and the prime minister representatives and those in Britain who are trying to help make this decision on the strike, because this is a co-strike. This is working in cooperation, Britain and U.S., but it's actually British driven, which might have a little bit tough for some audiences, because the U.S. is kind of portrayed in here as no question about it, take the shot, there is collateral damage, and we see how there's some internal conflict among the British government officials in here, as well as the drone pilot. Now, the drone pilot here is played by Aaron Paul. He plays Steve Watts. He was in Exodus and Need for Speed. Really enjoyed his character. Here's a guy sitting in front of a screen piloting a drone, and he's even questioning just the actions of what they're doing. His co-pilot, Carrie Gershon, also the two of them, they've never actually killed anyone. They're kind of new, and it was great seeing all these different perspectives and just how long it took for them to decide whether or not they should strike, showing that, I think, giving kind of a human element to the drone strikes. We see it in the media quite a bit of how, they're just some guy in front of a screen shooting a missile, but here we show some conflict, both on the political side as well as the moral side, as well as just internal emotional side of everybody involved, and I loved that. There are a lot of tense moments in here. Let me tell you, I never felt so tense about someone needing to sell bread in my life, but they do it in here. What I also liked in here is that the terrorist cell wasn't set in the Middle East. No, this is actually set in Africa, which I thought was an interesting move from what we normally see. And again, it is a strong British perspective that we're getting this told from, not from the U.S. perspective, which is also a bit unusual for films like this, especially in Hollywood. So the fact that we got a film like this on the big screen is fantastic. The fact it didn't get more press and whatnot, I'm not sure, because I found this very thrilling, very tense, and there were some really interesting questions that are brought up in here and debates that you could see happening. Folks, Eye in the Sky is similar along the lines of, say, A Few Good Men and even Hunt for Red October, though that had more action than Eye in the Sky did, but still, character-driven pieces where the dialogue is important, you gotta pay attention, and the tension is there for just simple scenes that you wouldn't think there'd be tension for. There is, and I give them props there as well. Eye in the Sky is a fantastic film. I highly recommend it. 4 stubs from me on this. I found very little wrong with it. It's a great final film for Mr. Alan Rickman, and Gavin Hood should really stick to these rather than trying to do those more action-packed films, because I think he's found his niche on what he can do properly. So check it out. If you have seen Eye in the Sky, please leave your comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to hit 1K by July. Only do it with your support. Welcome to all our new subscribers, and until next time, keep that ticket stub.